Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Now, you are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Now Jack Hughes puts it around the park. United States with numbers. Back across it comes. Jack Hughes wins it. The golden goal for the United States.
Wow.
For the first time since the 1980 miracle, the United States takes the gold. Jack Hughes beating Jordan Bennington.
What a day for America yesterday, man. I'm going to tell you what. And again, we haven't heard that since then.
McClanahan is there. The puck is still loose. 11 seconds. You've got 10 seconds.
Wow.
The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Oh, man. Isn't it just crazy that the men's hockey team and the women's hockey team both won against Canada in overtime this year? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is about karma. This is about good. This is about America in its 250th year. Oh my goodness, what a great thing. And by the way, Donald Trump invited the men's and women's hockey teams to come to Washington D.C. tomorrow for the State of the Union that the Democrat Party is going to boycott. Oh my God, it's so perfect. The Democrat Party is so butthurt about everything, so anti-Trump about everything, even when it's enormously positive, and 99.9% of it is enormously positive. Your Democrat Party is putting together an idiotic display with a bunch of people who are absolutely awful, despicable, and unlikable people. Kind of like if you're going to do the TPUSA halftime with a bunch of awful, terrible, unlikable people. That's what your Democrat Party is going to do. Oh my God, it's so glorious. And then yesterday in the locker room, Donald Trump calls in.
And by the way, your goalie played not bad. I have seen hockey goalies have slightly worse games than unbelievable, and you were all unbelievable. Wow. And that team is pretty good you played. I don't know if we'll get anytime soon, right? And, you know, I tell you what, I just told my people 2 minutes ago, I didn't know they'd be calling. I said, we're giving the State of the Union speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something, but if you would like to, it's the coolest night, it's the biggest.
We're in.
Oh my God. Yeah, and the Democrat Party's not going to be there because they're a bunch of petulant, spoiled little stupid children who've been throwing a temper tantrum for a decade. Honestly, bye. We're going to celebrate America tomorrow night, man. You are going to be on the outside looking in. Nobody cares about you. You're such awful people anyway. Here's the president also inviting the women's team.
Now, we'll do it at the White House anytime. What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that. Absolutely. I do believe I probably would be impeached. Okay? Oh, yeah. But anyway, if you could work that out, I would be honored to have you. I'll introduce you to the whole.
I got it, boss. I got it.
Congratulations. That was an unbelievable game. I don't know if one person that wasn't, everybody that called me said I'm watching the hockey game. I don't know of anybody that wasn't. And you're going to be proud of that game for 50 years as you grow older. I mean, it was amazing. Wow. So we love you guys. Congratulations. And I hope to see you, Kash, Tuesday night. And I want to shake hands. I'm going to shake hands with everybody, but I got to shake hands with that goalie.
There you go. Oh, my God. All that toxic masculinity that the Democrats just hate so much. And then Kash Patel was there. He's our FBI director, and he was swigging beers with them. And a lot of people are all upset that Kash Patel would swig beers with them because I think they hate heterosexual men displaying masculine tendencies. Is what I think it is. I think they want men to be women and women to be men, and so they're all upset that Kash Patel's swigging beers. I got to tell you, I'd much rather have Kash Patel swigging beers than Jim Comey leaking stuff to the press to try to take down Donald Trump. How about that? Plus, he's an unlikable, awful human being. Here's what Kash Patel has to say to the people who are very concerned about him swilling beers. For the very concerned media, Yes, I Love America was extremely humbled when my friends, the newly minted gold medal winners on Team USA, invited me into their locker room to celebrate this historic moment with the boys. Greatest country on earth and greatest sport on earth. Boom. There you go. Too bad, so sad. Jack Hughes plays for the he's the guy who scored the winning goal, by the way. He's Jack Hughes. Can you think of a more American name? That's so racist. No, it's not. Jack Hughes. Listen to Jack Hughes talk about being proud to be an American.
This is all about our country right now. I love the USA.
This guy played through 2 broken teeth. He had 2 bloody, broken stubs of teeth. And he said, no. See, this is the thing about hockey. You can be bleeding out of your mouth, and you're just like, I'm not going to sit down.
I love my teammates. It's unbelievable. The USA Hockey Brotherhood is so strong.
Oh, yeah.
And we had so much support from ex-players. I'm so proud to be American today.
What?
So proud.
This was such an incredible game to grind out. I mean, you're bleeding right through it just looking at you right now. Can you just talk about how difficult this gold medal was to win?
Unbelievable game by Hellebuck. He was our best player tonight by a mile. Yeah. Unbelievable game. Unreal game by our team.
That is just fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic, considering what Democrats have done to millennial men, particularly shaming them for being masculine and all of this. And, of course, women telling them that they'd be better off being men. All of the nonsense of the Democrat Party just flushed down the toilet. And did I mention that both teams are coming to the State of the Union and the Democrat Party is boycotting it? Oh, my God, it's just so good. It's so good. It's so perfect to watch these people self-immolate. It is absolutely amazing. Here's the U.S. men's hockey team singing the national anthem with pride, crying with joy, because we love America and know it's the best thing ever. Drag the world out of the dark ages, for God's sake. Invented blue jeans and rock and roll and the airplane, for God's sake. My goodness. And the Democrat Party hates it. Hates it. Tried to tear it down by opening our southern border for 4 years. Cool. Yeah. Pretty awesome. And the Democrat Party is going to be on the outside looking in once again. You know, just looking small, shriveling up and scouring and lashing out at us and all of that. And I told you this year, this is our 250th year. There's a reason why we're all here. There is a reason why we've arrived at this moment and been through the things that we've been through. That's why I moved here, because we are here together. And I'm going to tell you, these whiny 20% of Democrats are going to be left in the dustbin of history. And we are going to, and I've told you, what did I tell you about what we got to do? We got to overwhelm them with joy and patriotism. Let them be dowered. Let them go crawl in a hole somewhere. Let them leave the country. By the way, I've got a crazy cat lady of the day. 2 of them today. Both of them moved their families from America, upset their kids. Their kids crying every day, going to a foreign school. These crazy cat ladies who've done this to their kids because they're mentally ill. That's going to be later in the show. But Don Lemon is very upset. He did not like Kash Patel being in that locker room because I'm sure he probably wanted to be.
Y'all just ain't used to You ever heard that? I used to hear that growing up when people were like not used to things, like not used to being in certain places or in the presence of certain people, just not used to having things. That's what this administration is about. And specifically, I'm talking about Kash Patel, who's over in Italy partying with the hockey players who won, and they're celebrating.
Yes, all those men in their jock straps there, Don.
Yeah, I do. Why are you even there? And most likely on taxpayer dollars. Well, yes, of course on taxpayer dollars.
I'd rather spend that than on a Somali daycare without any kids in it.
Probably on the plane, which he has been in trouble for, which he's been scrutinized for. This administration is so tacky. I know that
it's so tacky, just Stop it.
Trump, they say he's a wealthy man or whatever. He's made billions off of the presidency.
Yeah.
But him too.
Yeah.
His name is on everything, including his plane,
Yeah,
all the
why not?
gold, the terrible, how tacky the White House looks, and the Oval Office with all that gold. Like, you people have no...
Look at it, just gnashing their teeth and looking and just scowling in their misery.
Class. It's just gross.
I think it's kind of cool, actually, especially when he brings in McDonald's for everybody.
And the sad thing is that we are paying for
What
it.
is the sad thing other than you loser?
It's tax dollars.
Ugh.
And you have the nerve to, like, talk about people? You guys are, like, you have no class. You're trashy. It's disgusting.
I love it if he thinks that we're trashy and disgusting. I love it. Fellow Walmart shoppers, are you hearing what this guy's saying? I love it.
And the sad irony, I guess you can call it irony, is that we are paying for these low class.
Low class.
I
would much rather be low class than in your class any day.
You come up with a word for it.
Oh,
like,
my
get over
God.
it. Kash Patel, just take some pictures, go over there, you can pay for it yourself, and just have some class.
Wow.
Ugh.
And you've got class. Okay. You, the Democrat Party, who your main slogan for the Democrat Party going into the midterms is F Trump. That's it. It's just F Trump. I mean, really, okay, we're the problem. We got the problems with the class. Remarkable. And it was a remarkable, emotional day. Johnny Gaudreau's family was there. Johnny and his brother were killed in 2024. Johnny would have been on the team. And the team got pictures with his kids when he was killed by a drunk driver with his brother. His wife was pregnant with a baby, and those kids came out. It was an American moment, and we should be proud, and the left can suck it. Honestly, to heck with you. We won't miss you at the State of the Union, because the State of the Union is going to be joyous and happy and patriotic. There you go. God bless America. I told you we were here for a reason. I told you we are the reaction to the action of evil. I told you this, and it's going to happen every day. Let's take a break and come back, shall we, kids? This is the Rob Carson Show.
With Epstein, I often used to hang before I left his place. I went out with a bang, Jeffrey invited me, and I would go again, was in a hot tub on the island of sin. Hillary said it was philanthropy, that was her way of covering for me with stupid claims like that. We're never gonna win, was in a hot tub on the island of sin. You'd think my wife would be filled with rage because the gals down there, they were underage. You see, a caring spouse Hillary has never been, was in a hot tub on the island of sin. Somalis are all on welfare, and the Dems just seem to not care. Ilhan Omar, she needs to go. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. Many are anti-Semitic. Their statements have been pathetic. They're a threat to all you know. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. They are always expressing hate of America. Why are they here? Must abort before it's too late. Talk about holiday cheer. Our language, they will not learn it. Own money, refuse to earn it. They are gaming the system so. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO.
and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
And Team USA really went above and beyond. It meant the world. Even just having his jersey out when Matthew went out the first round around with the...
Katie Goudreau, the sister of Johnny Goudreau, who was killed in a drunk driving... he was hit by a drunk driver in 2024.
The jersey really meant a lot, and we thought it was just going to end there. And then I remember watching and seeing the jersey while they were giving out the gold medals and thinking, wow, it's still there. And as the celebration went on, when they went to do the picture, they stopped for a little bit, and then we were like, what are they doing? What are they doing? And I thought I heard him earlier say there's Mayor in the audience, in the crowd. And then when they went and got Johnny on his second birthday and Noah, it truly meant the world to us. Because honestly, this is what John wanted for...
And those kids are going to remember that moment when they're older. They're going to look and see that they were on the ice where their dad should have been. That's one of the most beautiful things that happened yesterday, as well as the U.S. men's team defeating Canada, just like the women's team defeated Canada. Both of them should be so proud. Both teams cried, wept during the national anthem. None of them kneeled. It was glorious. And all the Democrats can do are seethe and throw stones, but it's not. They just bounce off. They just bounce off. You know, for instance, the decision by the Supreme Court on Friday. We were all pretty upset about it. I remember I was pretty upset about it, taking away the tariff power and all that. Turns out, though, they may have actually made Donald Trump even more powerful. Here's the president after their decision.
In order to protect, and it says so, in order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period of a year.
Yeah, I know. It's
under
cool.
the various tariff authorities. So we can use other of the statutes, other of the tariff authorities.
Yeah, and you know, what the tariffs have done for us, among many things, is bring peace around the world, by the way. Bring peace between, for instance, the Pakistanis and the India. So they brought that there as pretty amazing, pretty amazing. And then also he also returned the farmers of America billions of dollars, gave them billions of dollars to help them out because they've been suffering for so long. So I'm going to look. I've been looking up a soundbite real quick here. Let's see. There was a perfect encapsulation of what was done with Stephen Miller on Friday with regard to the tariffs. Here's Stephen Miller talking to Lori.
Trying to find the right language, the ambiguous language to justify Obamacare. I think Kavanaugh pointed that out in his dissent. And so, but now this is some tortured interpretation of this statute. When his
Fox news anchors always ask questions that are longer than the sound bites they get.
Historically, this has always been
Hannity's the worst.
A prerogative of the president and Congress, obviously. If Congress actually had the guts to do this, which we know it does not.
Get to the question.
Stephen.
Here we go.
Right, but that is why Congress gave this authority to the president, because you cannot separate out the regulation of trade with foreign countries from the conduct of our foreign policy. That's why Congress enacted the International Emergency Economic Powers Act in the first place. And again, as Justice Thomas pointed out in his dissent, it's the same basic statutory construction that Nixon used in his day to levy tariffs.
Well, basically, we're going to be able to do even more. And he's going to do even more, which I think is pretty fantastic, actually. So, when I came in on Friday, I was trying to digest all this, and I said, after just doing a little bit of digging before the show, I said, oh, he's going to be able to do this. He's going to be able to move past this, and then everything's going to be absolutely amazing. Here is Governor Mike Braun of Indiana. He says that tariffs have been amazing for his state.
In your state, though, you said you believed this.
Here's why the left hates the tariffs, because they know they'll work. They'll know they work, and they know they're working. That's why the left hates it. This is why we've got $18 trillion of new investment coming into America. The left wanted to C-block Donald Trump on this because they knew we were being B-slapped by the rest of the world on tariffs, and they wanted to stop Donald Trump's economy.
Theory that it might actually help bring back some of those manufacturing jobs. Did you see that it did any of that?
Yes, it was starting. I mean, the amount of investment that's coming back to this country that whooshed out of it, that created chronic trade deficits, that needs to be
the trade deficit has been cut into, just shredded.
Rectified. And you can do that through tariffs. You can do it through trade negotiations, and we were going the wrong way for a long time.
There you go. Yeah, we're absolutely. Here's Scott Bessent, Secretary of the Treasury, saying that it's actually it's not going to reduce tariff revenue what the Supreme Court did.
I would also like to take a moment to address today's Supreme Court ruling, and I would note that I did not change a single word in my speech post the ruling. President Trump will always put our national security and Americans first.
Yeah, he does.
And as I have said before, the president has multiple tools in his toolbox.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about what today's ruling was and what it wasn't.
Yeah.
Despite the misplaced gloating from Democrats, ill-informed media outlets, and the very people who gutted our industrial base, the court did not rule against President Trump's tariffs. 6 justices simply ruled that IEEPA authorities cannot be used to raise even $1 of revenue. This administration will invoke alternative legal authorities to replace the IEEPA tariffs.
Yeah.
We will be leveraging Section 232.
Yeah. Basically, we're going to be able to raise even more. And you know what the theme of the Trump administration is, right? F around and find out. And they did. Jim Gossett, Rob Carson Show. Come on.
Amy Coney Barrett betrayed me. The worst ruling in history. They tried to take my tariff powers away, but I tell you, tariffs are here to stay. F around and find out.
They did.
They are gonna find out.
That's right.
I have found a way out. Their decision doesn't mean a thing.
Not a thing.
They forget that I'm the president.
Oh, yeah.
My new tariff is 15%. Perfectly legal in my domain. Within my rights, there's no need to explain. F around and find out.
They did.
Supreme Court's gonna find out.
Yeah, that's all right.
Listen to the lips pout. Donald Trump is gonna win the day.
There you go. That is brand new.
Find out.
From Jim Gossett, patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Bad news for the Democrats. The red state boom is happening. Also, another attempted assassination of Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. They took him out. More details on that coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain. Over time, it just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince. You know, a well-built wardrobe is about pieces that work together and hold up over time. That's what Quince does best. Premium materials, thoughtful design, everyday staples that feel easy to wear, even as the weather shifts. Quince has everyday essentials. I love the quality that lasts, by the way. Organic cotton sweaters, polos for every occasion, lighter jackets that keep you warm in the changing season. The list goes on. Now, Quince works directly with top factories and cuts out the middleman. So you're not paying for brand markup, just quality clothing. Everything is built to hold up to daily wear and still look good season after season. I have a great wool blazer that has the ladies turning their heads, even if they're not looking at me. And then, of course, a cashmere sweater, ridiculously soft, doesn't cost a fortune as well. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/Newsmax for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. That's quince.com, QUINCE.com/Newsmax. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax.
What now for us? Hillary's worry. We had to agree to testify. Comer had us over a barrel. Must say that he's a tenacious guy. If I tell the truth about Epstein, about each and every single teen, I'll go to jail. Hillary too. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What now for us? Now we have no choice but go to D.C. and testify. We have to lie.
He was like a 10-year-old, name-calling, foot-stomping, berating Supreme Court justices. He's like a baby.
But what do you make of the president bashing individual Supreme Court justices? Those same justices he'll be standing right across from at the State of the Union in a few days.
I think it's outrageous.
And they're taking away fundamental rights.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
Yeah, you know, as my friend Chris Plant likes to say, if it weren't for double standards, Democrats would have no standards at all. It's so easy because, you know, the interweb lives forever. And that's, of course, in 2021, I believe, when when Chuck Schumer was threatening the Supreme Court with repealing Roe v. Wade, threatening the Supreme Court, and then when Donald Trump was criticizing the Supreme Court on Friday, that was bad. So that's your Democrat Party. This is Donald Trump at a place called Coosa Steel last week in Rome, Georgia, talking about how the tariffs saved his company.
The tire rack industry was going to China. There were no tariffs.
Nope.
They were bringing them in, and they were decimating the tire rack business in America.
Yep.
Your first term, we saw some things come back,
Yep.
just a little bit here and there.
Yep.
The second term, about July, the quotes, the orders, I couldn't keep up.
Whoa.
They were coming nonstop.
Crazy. That is amazing what happens when, because George W. Bush, he said that there were jobs Americans won't do. And I was like, you jerk. Okay, I got to tell you, my dad did a lot of jobs you would never do. They always say that because the liberal elite, there are jobs they won't do. They think that working at McDonald's was kind of tough. They've never shoveled crap from animals, or they've never worked in a slaughterhouse, or they've never worked on a fishing boat, or they've never had their rear end in a tractor all day, on a tractor seat all day. They've never worked a day in their lives like Michelle Obama, spoiled, entitled brat, never worked a bloody day in her life. Neither has Kamala Harris. The longest position she held was horizontal. But that said, that's what your Democrat Party and rhinos convinced you of, that there were jobs we wouldn't do. Well, guess what? Made in America is back, and people are proud of it. People are proud of building things here. People don't mind standing in an assembly line and knowing that the product they're cranking out is the best of the best of the best. And I think that's fantastic news. Joey in Edgewood wants to talk about tariffs. Joey, welcome to the Rob Carson Show. What's on your mind? Joey, are you there?
What?
All right, Joey might have dropped off. Joey said, can't Congress pass tariffs? And I would say to him, yeah, they can. But you see, right now, half of Congress is hostile to everything that Donald Trump does. Hence the reason why right now FEMA and the DHS are not being paid. All right, for no good reason, because they're a bunch of petulant children, and they don't want Donald Trump to succeed. They see in his success their doom, because they try to do everything to kill him, to take him off the ballot, to put him in jail, to bankrupt him, and it failed. They threw everything at him, all of the departments of government, the DOJ, the FBI, DHS. I could go on and on. They censored our speech. They censored his speech. They took him off all social media. They debanked him. We find now that J.P. Morgan debanked Donald Trump. 50 of his accounts, they took them down. Jamie Dimon said that didn't happen. They debanked Donald Trump like they do in the Soviet Union. That's what they did. And Donald Trump won. And now the Dems can't hate it. They just hate it. They hate that he's succeeding, and they will do anything, no matter how good it is, even if it means getting Maduro out of Venezuela. They hated that because they didn't do it. They hated that he shut the southern border when they said it wasn't possible. They hated he went after Iran's nuclear facilities. They hated that he's brought peace in Gaza. They hate it all because in him they see their doom. And so now all they do is throw temper tantrums. Now all they do, they're not going to go to the State of the Union tomorrow. I say, great. Put both the men's and women's Olympic hockey teams in their seats tomorrow. In their seats tomorrow as we celebrate America going into its 250th year. Have you heard a single Democrat say this is the 250th anniversary of our founding and are proud of it? Has anybody on the Democrat Party said anything about the 250th birthday of America? Not one single one of them. And here is a perfect example of why Democrat policies are failing across the board, and yet the Democrats, for some reason, think they're somehow going to win the midterms. Listen to where all the population is going and where all the population is leaving.
Take into account the population mid-2025. Look at this. The biggest population growth this decade, all 5 of the states that Donald John Trump won. John Trump won in 2024. Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, And, of course, the great state of Arizona, where I spent my New Year's Eve. I love those folks out in Prescott, Arizona. These were the biggest gainers. The biggest gainers in terms of population compared to the 2020 census. Now, it's not just a red state boom. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at a red state boom here. But it is not just a red state boom.
What is it?
We're also looking at what I would dare call a blue state depression. Because who are the people? Who and where are the people moving from into the red states? Well, they're blue states. They're blue states. Take a look here. The lowest domestic net migration this decade.
Where?
All 5 of the states that were won by Kamala Harris in 2024. Look at this. California, Harris's home state. New York, where I'm coming from right now, of course. Illinois.
Yeah, that's a sucky state.
New Jersey.
They're losing the Bears.
And, of course, the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which is a bastion of blue liberalism. These are the states that folks in the United States are moving away from.
Yeah. And so the Democrats are having to lie about what they're going to do when they get into office, like Abigail Scamberger over here in Virginia had to lie about who she was to get into office, and then they passed all this nonsense bull crap that nobody in the state of Virginia wants. This is what Democrats want, by the way. And here's the thing about Democrats. You think they backed off, you think they've moderated in any way, shape, or form. You are absolutely wrong. I want you to listen to this. This is a list of the new nonsense that they passed that nobody voted for.
So about 2 weeks ago, y'all gave Democrats in Virginia complete control. And in those 2 weeks, not only have they passed more than 50 new taxes, but they've also given themselves a 150% raise. Is this what you voted for?
Nope.
Let me just tell you some of these taxes. So first off, they added additional local sales tax. They added new personal and property tax on electric leaf blowers and electric lamps.
They're going to tax fantasy football. I know. So what are you going to do with your fantasy football league? Well, you're going to take it offline. That's what you're going to do. You're just going to do it with your friends like you used to.
Landscape equipment.
It ain't going to get a damn dime.
So if you went green instead of using the gas-powered, you're about to pay for it.
Yeah.
There's a new employer tax, a new gun and ammo tax, a delivery tax, which will hit you if you use Uber Eats, DoorDash, Amazon, an investment income tax, an event tax, a concert tax, a storage facility tax. So if you have stuff in storage, you got to pay an extra tax for that. A gym membership tax. Can't have y'all getting healthy or anything. A dog walking tax. And a dog grooming tax. Counseling tax, for those of you that are seeing a therapist. New digital personal property tax. They haven't given us the details on that one. A new car tax. A used car tax. They're adding an additional hotel tax. A dry cleaning tax. A home repair tax. A
home repair tax.
Vehicle repair tax. And around
tax when you get your car fixed.
It all off statewide speed cameras.
There's your Democrat Party. And make no bones about it, they want to do that everywhere. There are no moderate Democrats. There are no moderate Democrats. They're going to screw you over no matter where you are, because that's what they want. There you go. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the harsh political environment we live in, that this particular president seems to, it just drives a certain segment of the population absolutely nuts. I can tell you, having worked for President Clinton, President Bush, and President Obama, and then again, having worked for President Trump in this prior position, I've never seen anything like this. The threat atmosphere against this president is through the roof.
Yeah, and the Democrat Party has been doing it for a decade. They whip people into a lather of frenzy. If you can convince people of an absurdity, they will commit atrocities. If you convince people that ICE agents are Nazis, then you will attempt to run them over and end up getting shot to death. This is the kind of mania and insanity that the left has inspired, and they have burned themselves. They've burned their way across our country. They've injured themselves across our country and killed others like Charlie Kirk. An armed man drove into a secure perimeter of Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach before being shot and killed Sunday morning, according to a spokesman for the U.S. Secret Service. The man had a gas can and a shotgun. Investigators identified him as 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin of North Carolina, according to the FBI. And authorities, his family had recently reported him missing. He believed to have purchased a shotgun while driving south. Secret Service spokesman Anthony Giulietti said, and a box for the weapon was later discovered in the man's vehicle. Man entered the north gate of the property as another vehicle was exiting, continued by two Secret Service agents and a Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputy. He was ordered to drop the two pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun, and then was killed. So there you go. That's your another wasted life, another person driven insane by the ideology of the left. It's been going on for now a decade, and even had Joe Biden in front of Independence Hall for no good reason other than just to call Donald Trump a MAGA fascist, enemy of democracy. Remember that? Yeah, he did that on purpose. He had no business being there. He had no authority to be there in front of Independence Hall to deliver a speech that just demonized half the population. But this is what they were trying to do, and this is what they've ended up doing. Here's Laura Trump talking about the rhetoric of the left.
The third time in 2 years someone has tried to murder my father-in-law, our president of the United States. And, you would think that something like this would encourage...
Y'all about sick of this crap? Because I'm done.
Everyone, Republicans, independents, and yes, even Democrats, to stand up and say, you know what? We can't operate like this. This stuff isn't okay.
Remember after the Butler assassination attempt where they made fun of Donald Trump because of the bandage on his ear where he'd been shot? Remember when the left blamed Donald Trump for his own attempted assassination and then raised the bar, made the rhetoric more violent?
It's been deafeningly silent.
They know it's resulted in this.
From one side of...
Because this is what they want.
The political aisle, and I will say I've heard a lot of Republicans come and speak out against this in the past 24 hours. Not a lot of folks from the left, and that is noted by almost everyone in this country. But look, it took my father-in-law actually being shot in Butler, Pennsylvania, for Biden to come out at the time and say, maybe the rhetoric is a little too hot. Maybe we've gone a little overboard here. It may have been too late, though, because 2 months later, we know that the guy at the golf course tried to take his life there.
Yeah.
We all watched as our friend Charlie Kirk was murdered in cold blood.
Yeah, they wrote the word fascist on the shell casing, the language of the left.
A God-fearing father and husband who dared to engage with the other side of the aisle. That was, I guess, his crime.
No, this is what they wanted. It is a strategy, and it is working for them. That's why they're not speaking out against it. They light the fire and let the insane people do their dirty work, and then they wash their hands of it after it's over. This is tried and true from Marxists, from fascists, from communists. They call them useful idiots, by the way. The people who actually do these and lose their lives, they used to call them useful idiots.
We know who this FBI director is. We know this attorney general, and we know this president is in charge right now. So I will tell you, I know all three of those individuals are going to work very hard to get to the bottom of this. I found it rather disgusting online that there are people who were saying, well, this wasn't an assassination attempt because the president wasn't even there. You don't show up to someone's home with a shotgun and a can of gasoline with good intentions.
Anybody done that to Joe Biden's place in Rehoboth?
You don't. It's very obvious.
Barack Obama's place? Anybody do that at Barack Obama's house?
What this was all about. This was...
he's got 4 of them. Houses.
Person who wanted to, at the very least, cause violence and hurt people. And it happened at the very public home of the President of the United States.
Yeah, there you go. Tim Miller is a former Secret Service agent, and he talks about what's happening to young men in this country thanks to the Democrat Party.
Yeah, Lawrence, I think that is the great question that needs to be asked. Because remember, it wasn't long ago we were talking about Butler, and then it was Trump National, and here we go again. But I think it goes beyond just the focus on the president. It's really clear to me that what's happening now is a true crisis of culture.
Yeah.
It wasn't too long ago in America, young men were raised, grew up loving the country, wanting to serve, be a part of the country, but something's changed. Now think about this. Matthew Crooks, 20 years old, no previous history. Tyler Robinson, 22. Mangione, 27, and now Austin Martin, 21, who by all accounts worked at a golf course, had no previous history. So I think your question is the most important question. What is happening that's changing our young people to turn against our country?
Indoctrination. That's all you need to know. We'll continue this on the other side of the break. Let's take a break. This is the Rob Carson Show. All righty. Hi, kids. How are you? Let's see. Losing the Rumble feed. Hold on. Let me check. We won't be able to do it all here, period. We'll have to have a new space, period. All right, anyway. I'm just returning some stuff. Hello there, Scarecrow. Hello, Truth Be Told. Truth Be Told, too. Good to see you. Over on the Facebook, we got a lot of comments on Facebook today, including Linda. Hi, Linda. What's up? And Kathy, what's going on? It's so sad to see a young man and so deluded and radicalized by the left. Yeah. He's 21 years old, lost his life, pointed a gun at Secret Service. Yeah, it was suicide by cop, but he was also insane. Nobody does that unless they're insane. There are a million ways you can commit suicide by cop. Going into Mar-a-Lago and doing it is not only a sign of the desire to probably die, but also the brainwashing that you think that it is worth something for you to die when you are going after Donald Trump. So there's that. That's what they did. It is beyond terrible. It's sickening, thoroughly sickening. Hello, Kat Summers over there on YouTube. It's good to see you there. Deplorable Dinosaur, hello. How's things? Good to see you. Thanks for watching today. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Let me check out my price of gold here real quick. I got to check it out. Where is it today? 50? Oh, wow. All righty. Here we go. Here we go again. It went up big time. All right. What am I going to do here next? Oh, yes. I got to talk now, guys. Here we go. Led Zeppelin.
Well, I think it's been an ongoing process. I think there are a lot of factors, but let's be clear. This entire tree planted by the left that hates America, it's radical ideology that tells us that America's evil, our founders are evil, laws are optional, the family structure's not required, we don't need Judeo-Christian values anymore. All of that has been going on in the school systems for a number of years, and I think we're seeing fruit come from all that ideology.
Yeah, 100%. That is Tim Miller, former Secret Service agent, talking about the 21-year-old who went to Mar-a-Lago with a gas can and a shotgun and a death wish, I guess. And, third assassination attempt of Donald Trump. And here is what I've been saying for now years about what this is. And I've always been a man of faith, although it was weakened through a number of very hard times. But I absolutely am crystallized with the thought that we are in a battle of good and evil. That's it.
That's 100% true. It is a fight of good versus evil. If you believe in America, if you believe that this is the greatest place on earth, by the way, that's why 15 million people have come across the border to be here, then you're going to want to support it. But this ideology on the left is all about highlighting to our young people what's wrong. And here's the concern I have. When I was a young man, I wanted to do something bigger than myself, be a part of something good. The left is shaping that narrative, and they're saying, hey, it's okay to attack police officers, disobey laws, burn down businesses. That's a scary thing that's happening. Thank God President Trump is trying to take us back to the values that made America great. And my hope and prayer is that all Americans would wake up.
We are, and we may have saved America before it could be destroyed. This is Julian Epstein talking about the Democrats versus us.
It's intellectual North Star, two ideas. One is grievance. The West is unfair, the West is oppressive, and we have to undo the systems of oppression.
Democrats.
And I think the second thing is growing the welfare state as a way of buying votes. I think immigration is sort of tied into that as well.
Yeah.
I think the party has moved dramatically to the left for that reason. The Democratic Party, and particularly the left, operates on emotion. So you get a woman from a previously underrepresented group, she becomes a candidate, and they stop thinking. This is sort of exhilarating. This is rage euphoria.
Yes.
I think the party operates a great deal on emotion. I find the left operates a great deal on emotion, and the right is increasingly operating on facts.
Yeah. The world is going to end. The polarized caps are melting. Donald Trump is a Nazi and a fascist. Donald Trump is going to open internment camps where they have cremation ovens for illegals. I can go on and on. That's your Democrat Party there. Freaking nuts. That's what they are. Coming up, we've got Zoran Mondami. He is against voter ID, but you need several pieces of ID to shovel snow. We're going to call it Jim Snow 2.0 because it's obviously very racist to do that. That's coming up. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. Joining us at the bottom of the hour, Thane Rosenbaum, legal analyst, law professor. Always a good guest. Talking a little bit around Iran and all of that. And then also, what is this nonsense about the Muslim call to prayer being blasted 5 times a day through New York City? And then, of course, Islamists holding their prayer services on Times Square. Bull crap. Honestly, bull crap. Enough is enough is enough. The Trump Kennedy Center's outdoor ice rink was deliberately vandalized with a toxic chemical early Friday morning because, Democrats, Gallon-sized container resembling a milk jug was left at the scene. The substance was confirmed to be toxic, though its exact composition was not disclosed. Our outdoor plaza was doused with a toxic chemical, severely damaged. We will not tolerate violence or hate at America's Cultural Center. The vandalism led to the immediate cancellation of a performance by Le Patin Libre, a Canadian artistic skating company. And Rick Grinnell is over there. Says the Democrats have a calculated campaign that includes artist cancellation threats and inciting mentally unstable people to act. Grinnell said serious death threats and constant harassment since the renaming of the Kennedy Center. And they're going to be closing it down so they can fix it up because it's a crap hole. Apparently the foundation of the building is about to crumble. It was really getting to the point where they were going to consider tearing the dang thing down. And Donald Trump came in because he's known to build stuff. I don't know if you knew this. He builds stuff. That's one of the things he does so well. So they're going to redo that. We're going to get to Zoran Mandami, although, Gavin Newsom is, my God. Gavin Newsom is at a book event. I guess he's got a book. I don't know. It's kind of funny. And then it's with Atlanta mayor, apparently, Andrew Dickens. And apparently the audience was largely black. And he slowed down his speech deliberately for the audience and then said, "You guys are dumb and can't read, just like me."
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy.
I'm just dumb like you guys.
And I'm not trying to offend anyone,
you just did.
Trying to act all there if you got 940.
Yeah,
but literally a 960 SAT guy.
Here's where he leans into, you guys are illiterate.
I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech.
Wow.
Maybe the wrong business to be in.
Yeah, it's just hilarious. And this is really funny because, I was a poor kid, and many of you probably were poor kids. You just didn't know it, right? We had Cool Whip containers was Tupperware, man. Cool Whip containers was Tupperware. And when you microwave them, they turn orange because of spaghetti sauce. They were kind of those people. Went to the half-price store, went to the Goodwill, all of that stuff. And here he is claiming he's down with the struggle because, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Okay. He ate Stouffer's lasagna. All right, now, anybody who lives in a trailer park, Stouffer's lasagna is like living large. You get a pan of Stouffer's lasagna, it's like $15 now. That's living large.
Walking home, got home early. My mom was always working, so, I'm cooking, literally lived on Stouffer's lasagna, macaroni and cheese.
Right.
I got finished, 2 pots of macaroni and cheese and got bored and I went up.
Well, who cares? Honestly, that's his life. He's trying to act like he's all, been through so much. He's never worked a damn day in his life. He's never had his hands dirty. He's never had calluses on his hands. Probably had calluses on one of his hands when he was a teenager, but we won't get into that. Unbelievable. And here he is. Oh, this is really funny. He's skating around the inaffordability. You cannot live in California. So many people are leaving California because you can't afford to live there. Now, what's the difference between affordability in different states? What causes states to be unaffordable to live in? The government. Okay, obviously, if you're living on the coast, you could see front property, that's going to cost a little bit more. Lakeside property is going to cost a little more. But the cost of living is greatly increased when the government, the taxes, the regulations are much, much higher. And here is this jackweed. If there were a medal awarded to skating around a question, he'd get the gold.
California has the highest cost of living in the nation. The state's prices are 11% higher than the national average.
Yeah.
We were actually out to dinner here in Nashville last night. We met a couple from California.
Yeah.
They moved out of California
Yeah.
because they couldn't afford the rent or even to buy a home and also start a family.
Yeah, you're strapping his skates on now.
Yeah, we've had hundreds of thousands of people move in California the last 2-3 years. We've seen population
That's a net negative, actually. The only people moving in are illegals, and you're loading them up with free crap.
growth. As you know, we moved from 6th to the 4th largest economy in the world, and we dominate now in every key industry from AI, quantum, robotics. We
They're
dominate in ag. We dominate forestry.
People
we
are
dominate
struggling
in
to afford things
manufacturing.
like your mom was.
Yeah, there you go. Like your mom was eating your Stover's lasagna, living high on the hog, man. I would have loved to have had Stover's lasagna when I was growing up, man. That would have been friggin' amazing, but we never had Stover's lasagna because it was too expensive. We had Totino's pizza on a good night, and it was with those little cubes of pepperoni. It was the worst pizza ever. My God, it was like shoestrings baked on a cracker. It's just amazing. Just amazing. This guy is so pathetic. Unreal. Here is Gavin Newsom talking about black people and then and insulting black people and then saying even he doesn't even have his birth certificate.
And of course, we're not talking about the other aspects of the SAVE Act that go well beyond ID, and it goes to which is also part of Jim Crow, the history, and that
It's not
is
Jim Crow at all, you jerk.
when it comes to registration, you got to find your birth certificate.
Yeah.
If you know where yours is, I have no clue where mine is.
Have you tried looking up your
Or you have to passport, and 2/3 African Americans don't even have passports.
Passport
There's James Clyburn just gobbling it up.
I was blocking on just then. But not only that, how many people go out, get married,
yes,
and then square their married name with their birth certificate?
And that would be thrown out under that law.
Yeah, no, you just go and you get it changed, you see, because a lot of times women get divorced and they change their names back so they can have utilities in their new place. Oh, my Lord. And here's a Bernie Sanders. He's saying he doesn't know what his birth certificate is. Here's why he can't find his birth certificate. Because it was written on papyrus and buried in a cave.
No, you're not talking about voter ID. That's the way Trump defines it. But you're talking about, now I don't know about California's initiative, but I do know what's going on in Washington, is that some geniuses think that before you can, maybe I have it wrong here, register to vote, you need a passport or your birth certificate.
Now, there are a number of ways you can prove your identity, actually.
Do you have your
driver's license, the whole deal?
Do you have a passport or your birth certificate?
At the moment?
Do you?
I do. I have
but millions of people don't.
Well, you must be, an exception to the rule because women are so stupid they can't find that stuff. Here is Senator Tim Burchett talking about how Bunny can get his birth certificate.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. I woke up this morning.
By the way, I love it when he says the word dadgum.
I'm perplexed that one of our U.S. senators doesn't know how to get his own birth certificate.
Yeah, I know. He's a senator, and then the governor of California doesn't know how to do it either.
Bernie Sanders, I think he represents Vermont, but he was born in New York State, I think in 1941. So I just typed in my little cell phone here in the Google search.
Gotcha.
And if you don't know the Google search, Bernie, that's GOOGLE. If you'll click it and then type in, after you get it up at the top, how to get a birth certificate.
Yeah, but you see, black people and women can't do that because I guess because of the Democrat Party, they say they're too stupid.
New York. And guess what? It popped right up.
They even say that black people can't get the interweb.
The Vital Records Department.
What?
And then you just scroll down and it says birth certificate, oddly enough. Crazy talk.
Yeah.
And then I clicked on that and it went through what you need to do. And then you can even use your credit card, which I'm sure you as a capitalist.
Gavin Newsom said a couple of years ago that like 40% of black people in California don't have access to checking accounts.
Will have a credit card. Or if you don't, I'm sure one of your many staffers will have that. Yeah. And all you got to do is fill it out. And dadgum, guess what? They'll mail it.
He said dadgum. Hold on, I got to hear that again. Hold on.
Many staffers will have that. And all you got to do is fill it out. And dadgum, guess what?
Well,
They'll mail it to you, Bernie. It's crazy talk.
They'll mail it to you. They'll just bring it right over in an envelope, and you'll have it right there. You see, that's just the Democrat Party knows that they're being scrutinized because they've been able to cheat. This is why they don't have a platform to stand on. They're not anything positive. Their new platform is F Trump. That's literally what it is. It's just F Trump, because they haven't had to win an election based on any issues at all. Are they saying anything other than what they've always said, which is tax the rich and healthcare is broken? Anything new? Anything new at all? Anything about innovation? Anything about anything? They did that green energy thing that fell. But all they have now is F Trump, because they've been able to steal elections and rig elections forever, and they're not able to do that anymore. This is why they want a no ID. If they were that concerned about 20 million people not having ID, they would say, you need an ID to survive, to turn your utilities on, to get a place to live. Let's send out vans so people can get IDs and live life. You know what they're doing instead? They're saying, screw those people. Let's make it so nobody has to show ID when they vote. So throw that out the window. Don't care that they can't survive without an ID. Claim that they don't have one when you ask them to get one to vote. You know the only people in America who don't have a legal ID to vote? Illegals. And there's about 20 million of them. There you go. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. International.
friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
That was his first State of the Union last year. His second State of the Union is tomorrow night. The Democrat Party is going to be boycotting, doing an idiotic event starring people who are absolutely unlikable. And good luck with that, because both Olympic hockey teams are going to be at the State of the Union. Here's Zohran Mamdani, the commie running New York City.
We're utilizing 33 DSNY vans and 2 DSNY buses to transport shovelers where they're needed faster. And for those who want to do more to help your neighbors and earn some extra cash, you too can become an emergency snow shoveler. Just show up at your local sanitation garage between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. tomorrow with your paperwork, which is accessible online at nyc.gov/snow, and you can get started right away.
And you need ID. You need ID to shovel snow. Let me first of all say, you can get a thing called a snowblower. Okay, now a snowblower, even a commercial snowblower, you can probably get one for $1,000, $1,200. Okay, you're going to pay somebody $20 an hour, and then they're going to raise if you work over 40 hours, $28 an hour, right? So you're going to pay somebody $240 for 8 hours of snow shoveling, and you're going to do 1/10 of what a snowblower can do. So, and if you ever notice that when you use a snow shovel in your driveway, it takes a couple hours, but you got a nice snowblower, you can do it in 10 minutes. So let's just say that it does the work of 6 people, right? So kind of stupid to pay people to shovel snow when a snow blower can literally take the snow, blow it very quickly, and then into another area 10 feet away, maybe even 20 feet away. But he's choosing to pay people, because this is what Democrats do. The Roosevelt did this thing called the WPA, and they'd pay people to dig holes and then fill them in again. And that's what it is. That's what this is all about. The most inefficient, stupid way to remove snow is a guy with a shovel, when you could just take a city maintenance guy and give him a snow blower. There you go. But that's your Democrat Party. It'd be like this massive sewage spill here in Washington, D.C. If Zohran Mamdani were in charge, he'd have a bucket line of people passing a bucket of crap and then dumping it into a truck to haul it off. That would be Zohran Mamdani. But you know what? He's never worked a day in his life. So what do you expect? But of course, when you want to work for the city, you got to present 2 forms of ID. You got to have a federal ID, or I should say a driver's license, social security card, all of the things that the Democrat Party says are racist if you ask them to show it to vote, you see. But here is Zohran Mamdani blaming the federal government for the rules regarding needing an ID to shovel snow.
There's been this controversy over the snow laborers and the
snow laborers. Oh my God!
What some see as onerous need to have documentation. Can you just talk about if that's new and what you make of the controversy?
This is all long-standing. This is a long-standing program and long-standing requirements, and this is a way that New Yorkers get paid to shovel snow in assistance with the city's response to a winter storm event. Federal law requires that employers get authorization and documentation to pay people for their work. We are not allowed to just cut checks to individuals for their work. And
it's the federal government's problem. I think it's racist, but honestly, wow. It is. They are so nakedly corrupt and idiotic. To be quite honest, they are quite idiotic. We have Blanca in Baltimore, who, if I'm not mistaken, is a Latina, and she says she has an idea. How are you?
I'm doing great. Listen, I'm going to let you know that first of all, have you ever spoke to a unicorn before?
I have not.
You're about to. Listen, I am American, a woman, unmarried, and I got an ID.
What?
I'm packed and loaded.
What?
I'm packed and loaded. In Spanish, empacada y cargada. And for you, because you're a male, see, the Spanish language is pronoun identifier.
Yes.
I would say empacada, you would say empacado.
Yeah. France is the same way. France is the same way. If you say, for instance, if you got a table, it's like le tableau or la tableau. You know how to tell if a table is masculine or feminine? Look between its legs. Hey ho, I'll be here all week.
So I wanted to just let you know that in Maryland, it is so corrupt here that all someone has to prove, all someone has to show to enroll a child, no matter where in the world they were born, is to show a screenshot of a passport. Once I used to work in Baltimore City Public Schools, and I'm looking at the child and I'm looking at the picture, and I'm like, okay, the person on the picture on the phone looks Iranian, but the person. But they're telling me that this child is from Guatemala. Yeah. It is so corrupt here.
Oh, I know.
And so leadership is needed desperately. Yeah. I hope that you have a blessed week.
You too, Blanca. Thank you so much. You are a unicorn. My God, a woman who is a Latina and who is married and has an ID. My God. It is remarkable. It is utterly remarkable. My God in heaven. Here is Ron DeSantis talking about Zoran Mondami, who's, by the way, just tumbling out of control. His socialist worker paradise is collapsing.
About it. This guy ran on affordability. He also had a lot of other baggage, and we were, I was very, clear about that was not going to work out for New York City. Nevertheless, they made that choice. So he says affordability. How is it making life more affordable to jack up property taxes on your residents? Yeah, there are wealthy people in New York City, but not 3 million super wealthy.
Yeah, totally. And then also the grocery store, the one free grocery store they had, went out of business in a week. Unbelievable. By the way, the price of gold is at $5,200. What the what? $5,200. Last week it was down below $5,000. It's $5,200. The roar back from the drop that happened 2 weeks ago is happening right now. You need to get in touch with Birch Gold. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. If you're thinking about, diversifying your portfolio, taking an IRA or 401k, investing in precious metals, just listen to what I have to say. You can trust me. I trust you. The whole deal, I got my money invested in Birch Gold. It doesn't get any more real with regard to a product endorsement than the host investing his money with them. So all you need to do is just text my name, Rob, to 989898. Birch Gold will send you information about investing in gold. It's that simple. Then they'll get on the horn with your investment advisor or the company in charge of your IRA 401k. They'll exchange information, and you don't even have to fill any paperwork out. It is that simple. So text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold, and do that today because gold is $5,200. $5,200 an ounce. My gosh, it's just incredible. It is just incredible. Yeah, the Democrat Party, I want to tell you, whenever they say there's a shovel-ready project, I always like to say you better have your shovel ready because you're going to be shoveling more than snow. You're going to be shoveling a bunch of BS. Honestly, this is what happens when you elect children to office. Let's take a break and come back. Thane Rosenbaum on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince. A well-built wardrobe is about pieces that work together and hold up over time. That's what Quince does best. Premium materials, thoughtful design, everyday staples that feel easy to wear, even as the weather shifts. Quince has everyday essentials. I love the quality that lasts, by the way. Organic cotton sweaters, polos for every occasion, lighter jackets that keep you warm in the changing season. The list goes on. Now, Quince works directly with top factories and cuts out the middleman. So you're not paying for brand markup, just quality clothing. Everything is built to hold up to daily wear and still look good season after season. I have a great wool blazer that has the ladies turning their heads, even if they're not looking at me. And then, of course, a cashmere sweater, ridiculously soft, doesn't cost a fortune as well. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/Newsmax for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. That's quince.com, QUINCE.com/Newsmax. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain. Over time, it just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
But banning dogs seems a bit extreme to me, and I just wonder how far we're supposed to allow this Islam taking over America's largest city to go.
Rick, Congressman Fine may have spoken very crudely in an era in which we have very coarsened political debate, right? We don't really have civil political debate. Even our president uses the word loser to describe his enemies. But in a way, what he said is not unlike what Marco Rubio said in Munich. He's saying, take your national sovereignty back. Expressing your values and preserving your culture is not meaning that you're racist or Islamophobic.
That's 100% right. That is Thane Rosenbaum, ladies and gentlemen, on Newsmax 2, distinguished university professor, Touro University. Also a Jewish journal essayist. He's all over the place, and he's on this radio program right now. How are you, my friend?
Always great hearing your voice, buddy.
So, there were apparently there was an Islamist in New York City, I don't remember her name right now, said that perhaps we should get rid of dogs, and we all know what radical Islam says about dogs, or Islam in general. They call them dirty. And then Randy Fine says, what would you rather have? Would you rather have an Islamist or a dog? And he asked that question. And I got to tell you, I thought it was kind of refreshing, to be quite honest, because, the left and Islam always get so butthurt when it comes to criticism, but you can shred the Catholic Church all you want. What are your thoughts about this rigmarole in New York City?
So she's a pro-Palestinian Islamist. Her name is Nardine Kizwani.
That's right.
In fact, I just wrote about her, my essay that comes out this week, so you're right on top of it always, Rob. Look, on October 8th, the day after the October 7th invasion and slaughter in Israel, she openly, publicly congratulated the martyrs, said that the killing of gang raping of girls was great, Jewish girls, the beheading of babies and torching of babies, as long as they're Jews, that's great. I'm saying we're worried about this woman's feelings.
Yeah.
This woman is a barbarian.
Yeah.
So, should Larry Fine have said what he said? No, of course not. But we're living in a very degraded political culture. But let's just talk about who she is. She hates America. Yeah. She has spent her numbers of years in America as being anti-American, anti-Zionist, anti-Jewish, anti-white, and anti-Christian, anti-Catholic, anti-Judaism. She isn't against anything other than Islam taking over the country. So again, was Larry Fine correct? I would have said it better.
Yeah.
But I like what Marco Rubio said.
Yeah.
You know, Europe has been taken over, and they've been completely cowed
Yes.
by the fear that if they say anything that offends Muslims, two things will happen. There will be violence because Muslims respond in violence, or governments will topple because they vote. They have a larger number now because of the Syrian refugee crisis. There's just more of them now who are part of the electorate. But Rubio is saying, take back your nation.
100%.
Take back your continent.
100%.
And I think that's what Larry Fine was saying too.
If you've got leaders of mosques saying that Islam is here to take over the country, to defeat all other faiths, then get your ass out of the country. That is absolutely treasonous. It is not protected by free speech, by the First Amendment, and I'm just damn sick and tired of it. I'm really sickened by the call to prayer being broadcast 5 times a day in New York City. That is just sickening to me. I would encourage people to play the Ave Maria or play Jimi Hendrix doing the national anthem out their windows 5 times a day. That is utterly ridiculous. We all know what it's about, by the way. We know what that's about. We know what the Muslims, worship service on Times Square. We know what this is about. This is about asserting control. They have Zoran Mandami, who is an Islamist first, as the mayor, and that's what this is a manifestation of.
So the mayor of Dearborn, which is now a majority Muslim city, the entire city council is Muslim. There was a Christian reverend or pastor, I don't remember, but the Rob Carson audience can look it up.
Yeah.
It's available. Mainstream media won't cover it. I certainly talked about it. It was so shocking. He got up at a city council meeting, Rob, and he said, I'm opposed to tax dollars being used, that we renamed a street in Dearborn after a Hezbollah terrorist. We actually literally named a street in honor of a fallen Hezbollah Islamist terrorist. And he's saying, I'm not comfortable with American taxpayers being used for that purpose. And the mayor turned to this Christian pastor and said, I would like you to understand that you are not welcome to live in my city. That's what he said. You can look this up. You are not welcome here. And if you should choose to move, which I hope you do, I will personally throw a parade. That's the mayor of Dearborn speaking to a Christian. I have nothing else to say. That's it. That's just done. If you don't hear what that means, then you don't really understand what Larry Fine was trying to say also.
Exactly,
Again,
100%.
crude, vulgar, he shouldn't have said it that way. But what he's really saying is, what's next? Sharia courts?
Yeah.
What's next? Grooming gangs?
Yeah.
What's next? Women with sleeveless dresses being hassled on the street because they're immodestly dressed? What's next? We can't have dogs? What's next? What is it that Islam doesn't get offended by?
Yeah.
They're offended by everything.
Yeah, I'm done with it. I'm really done with it. After 9/11, there were never any mosques doing fundraisers. There were never any, literally a complete vacuum of regret for what happened on 9/11 from the Muslim community. And the same goes with October the 7th. You had groups bought and paid for by George Soros, Neville Singham, and others who immediately on October the 8th criticized Israel. It was all a psyop. It was all a setup. It's all part of, radical Islam, radical Islamist countries infusing money into university curricula. And it has been a slow roll using as a shield the Islamophobic weapon, saying that we are Islamophobic. And I'm really tired. I'm glad to see some of these municipalities saying no to these large Muslim communities with large mosques. There are cities in places like Texas that are saying enough is enough. What do you think about that?
Look, we've seen the same thing with racism. If everything is racism, then nothing is racism.
Yes.
And we have reached a point in America that if you say anything unflattering, or just criticizing, you don't have to talk about something harm being brought to a person of color. All you have to do is say something that's unflattering to a person of color, and you're automatically a racist.
Yeah.
And that's what Islam has been working on. If you mock us in any way, if you make a joke about us, if you conduct your Western ways in a way that is un-Islamic, because we believe in a caliphate. Remember, Islam is the one world religion that is both a political movement and a religion. Not true of Christianity, not true of Judaism, not true of Hinduism. It's true, Muhammad was a general, yes, and a prophet, and a general. And their agenda is not merely theological, it's also political.
100%.
So,
100%.
yes, I think that this is a strategy that's been used very effectively. You can't criticize us, you can't say anything about us.
Yep.
Because we'll charge Islamophobia.
Well, I think we're getting past that. As I came up with the expression, homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews need to come together to save America, and particularly when Islamists take over Times Square or have pro-Hamas rallies, homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews need to go down and give them a little what for. Let's take a break and come back. More with Thane Rosenbaum on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
So I expect, number one, that diplomacy continues. You have Kushner, you have Witkoff meeting in Geneva, trying to offer, here's the off-ramp. You have to end nuclear enrichment. You have to end ballistic missile program. Stop having the Ayatollah kill your people. Stop threatening the United States of America. I don't think they'll take that off-ramp. I think we end up using the capabilities of our two carrier battle groups that are in the region when that timeline hits to say the threat to America comes to an end. It's destruction or diplomacy. It's one or the other, and I think they choose destruction.
Yeah, the mullahs, the Ayatollah in Iran, they are their hubris is remarkable. They are arrogant to their demise, actually. And I'm hoping that they F around and find out. I have a feeling that Donald Trump is assembling this force with aircraft carrier groups, massive amounts of supplies in C-17 cargo planes, positioning fighters all over, and they're going to drive them all the hell out of power. I'm hoping and praying for that. What about you, Thane Rosenbaum? What do you think's going on over there?
You know, the Islamists don't surrender. They don't, even Hamas never really surrendered. They were, even after the day that there was a ceasefire, they were still recruiting. And they never put down their weapons. So this is the one thing they know they have over us. You hear this phrase all the time, and if you're a Westerner and you live on a nice block, you just don't believe that this is true. They say, you people love life, and we glorify death.
Yes.
Who talks like that? Who says we glorify death? Nobody in the West. Islamists talk like that. That's why we can defeat you, because we love death more than you love life.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
I
Not
know.
what I say, Rob. What they say.
Yeah.
It's just that we don't want to repeat what they say because it sounds so horrible. But it's what they say. They're always willing to stall. They're always willing to delay. They're not going anywhere.
Of course.
We think in terms of minutes and years. They think in terms of millennia.
Yes.
And also, to them, the afterlife is a good thing. It's not a terrible thing.
Yeah.
If we die today, that's better. So it's a very difficult enemy to fight.
Yeah.
They genuinely do. That's why they easily sacrifice children as human shields. Who does that?
I know.
They do.
I know.
And, so I don't know. I never expected the Ayatollah to step down.
No.
I expect that they will fight a war to the death in which they believe that their death is an ultimate victory.
Well, I think that Donald Trump is acting very strategically right now. He's positioning. I was thinking about the movie Independence Day. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Okay, Independence Day. You know how the alien spacecraft moved in and they hovered above the city centers, and then they waited to get coordinated, then all of a sudden 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's kind of what Donald Trump is doing with our forces. Although we're not evil like the aliens at Independence Day.
Well, I would be surprised, like the aliens, Donald Trump has moved all of our naval ships and firepower out there. I don't think we're doing that just as an exercise.
I think you're probably
right. That's why it just shows you the word that you use, hubris, is the right word. What is it that the Ayatollah thinks is happening? Does he think Donald Trump is out for a Sunday stroll? The entire Navy is out there.
Yeah.
But his view is, look, we're better than you, we're smarter than you, we're better looking than you.
Yes.
Our God is better than your God. Our prophet is way better than your prophet. We know the truth, you don't, and so it'll all work out for us.
They really are quite arrogant, aren't they? They are really quite arrogant.
Especially for people that don't really know how to do anything other than commit acts of terror and deal with sand.
I know.
They don't really win any Nobel Prize for anything. They don't build anything. They don't create anything.
No.
They don't innovate anything.
No.
What is it that they know how to do? They know how to fund proxies for terrorism.
Yeah.
That's your contribution to society?
Yeah.
That's it?
Well, here's, and I'm sure the president knows this, of course he does, but the Ayatollah has to be driven from power. That's it. He's got to go bye-bye. He's got to go bye. We've got to end this now. We've got to. If you have the opportunity to bomb the train tracks to Auschwitz, you do it. Right now we have that opportunity, and the Iranian people are depending on it. They're depending on us. They've said that we believe that the United States will save us, and 35,000 or more have died in the meantime. We've got to end this.
Even after taking out their nuclear facility with Donald Trump and Netanyahu working jointly, I think the Ayatollah and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard still think that Jimmy Carter's president.
I guess.
I don't think they understand that this is not the same. They saw American appeasement. They saw, we saw Barack Obama constantly trying to get their attention, to placate them, to appease them, conciliatory gestures, anything. We'll turn away from Saudi Arabia towards you. We'll do anything for you. So I think that they look at America and maybe we've confused them.
Yeah.
That maybe even when we took out their nuclear stockpile, they still thought they were dealing with Biden, Obama, and Carter.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that, and when the trigger is pulled, I'm going to celebrate the fall of this despotic regime that has caused the death of tens of thousands, maybe even millions of people, and maybe the beginning of the end for Command Central for radical Islam and the Persian people to walk free, because I think they're a good and decent people. They're smart people, and I think that they would eagerly work with even the Jewish people to bring peace to that area. I believe it 100%. Yeah.
One last thing.
Yeah.
During the Shah's reign, Israel's only ally in the region was Iran.
Yeah.
And today in New York and Los Angeles, the Persian community is thriving.
Yeah.
These are not zealots.
Yeah.
The Persian people need to be liberated and watch what Iran could actually become if the yoke of Islamists are removed from their power structure.
Absolutely. Hey, Thane Rosenbaum, great to have you on the show. I'm praying for peace after Donald Trump kicks their butts. That's what I'm. Thanks for being. Where can people find all your work, my friend?
ThaneRosenbaum.com. It's all there.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon. God bless. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hello, everybody. Shinto religion in Japan, love death. That's true. That's true. Kamikaze. You were exactly right. Look who's watching. Who's watching the show? Let me go over to Twitter. Twitter. Thanks for checking out the show today. Hope you're enjoying it. I'm having a good time. Today's my busy day. I'm going to be doing I tape my TV show today. It keeps me quite busy. Keeps me quite busy. My Mondays are always very, very, very busy. Look who's watching. Mick Redchester. Hello, Mick Redchester. Good to see you there. I believe you stumbled upon me earlier and said, look, there's Rob Carson. Oh, my God. Cool. Glad to have you here. Look at you guys over on the YouTube. Kat Summers and Jamie Billett. What's going on over on YouTube? And my Rumbly Roos, of course. Thanks for being here today. All right, what am I going to do here? I got something here I want to play. Doody-doody-doo. All right. Ooh, yeah, I got some good stuff coming up here. Oh, I'm going to play that. I got something you're going to really enjoy. Hold on. Jim Gossett did something really fun. Okay, here we go. That's going to be next. Here we go. I had a nice weekend. I cooked a lot, guys. I did, if you didn't check it out, look at Rob Carson Show on Instagram. I did white chicken chili. And I did it live. Shared the ingredients. I kept kind of reminding people what the ingredients were so you get an example as you go. But it is a recipe that I made many times. And it's really, 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 really good. So check it out. Rob Carson Show on Instagram. I think I reposted it on LinkedIn, a couple of other my social media. Here we go.
Iran is doing what they're always trying to do. Any place that they can use one of their proxies, the Houthis, Hezbollah, arm them, train them, and then direct them to kill Americans, they will do it. If they can attack our merchant marine fleet or our Navy vessels, they will do it. They constantly chant, as we've all become so numb to, they'll say death to America. Yep. They want to kill Americans, but they want the capabilities to kill Americans at an even higher rate with ballistic missiles, with nuclear weapons, and that's not going to be allowed. And that's what that whole thing is about. On top of which, again, they're killing and imprisoning tens of thousands of their people. It's time, I think, one way or another for this regime in Iran to come to a close. And I think it's inevitable that there is regime change there. But what we know about this administration, any action that they take it because they meet the trigger of making sure that tomorrow is a better day, just like in Venezuela.
There you go. That is Representative Brian Mast talking about taking out the Ayatollah. And I hope it happens soon. I want to see Iran free. Oh, my goodness, what a day it will be, right? Hey, by the way, we did this Gettysburg Battlefield bus tour on June 11th with my anchor station, WCBM in Baltimore. If you're in the area of Baltimore, we've got this luxury coach. We've already filled up one. It took just a couple days. We filled up one luxury coach. Today, we've added a second luxury coach. Okay? So if you want to go with me from Baltimore to Gettysburg, tour the battlefield, see where Abe delivered the speech, have a wonderful lunch there at a place called the Dobbin House. We've got another bus, second bus. All you got to do is go to WCBM.com, WCBM.com. If you want to get tickets, they're $130, okay? $130, and it's a pretty good deal. We'll have experts there who know the battlefields, can share the history, and experience it with me on June the 11th. It's going to be amazing. Jim Gossett put something together for us because Chicago's going to lose the Bears because of mismanagement by the governor and the mayor and Democrats being in charge. So they're going to go to Indiana. Jim put this together for us on the Rock Carson Show.
Chicago is losing the Bears.
The Bears.
For Bears fans, it's one sad state of affairs. We're bummed out. Looks like the Bears are moving out and they're headed to Hammond. 'Cause Brandon Johnson, he has ruined this town. It's gas time. The high crime gets worse every day. It's likely what scared the Bears away. Hey, go to a game and you'll risk your life. Sit next to a guy packing a knife in Chicago. Chicago. Chicago ain't the Bears town.
The Bears.
You're a Democrat Party. People are leaving Democrat states because Democrats make them into hell holes, hell on earth, and they're doing that with Democrat cities. Now the Chicago Bears leaving. The same thing happened to Kansas City. They lost Kansas City because Kansas City sucks. Like 30% of it are slums. So they moved over to Kansas, for God's sake. Yeah, that's your Democrat Party. They're going to win the midterms. Okay, sure. Let's take a break and come back. Final hour of the Rob Carson Show right ahead. Don't go anywhere. Congress.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show. Joining us at the bottom of the hour, Doug Burns, to talk about Trump and tariffs and all of that stuff. All that legal stuff. Did you have a nice weekend? I had a nice weekend. We did not get the giant snowstorm here in the D.C. area that they got up north. I was talking to my friend Walt Palmer, who is the program director at WGMD in Rehoboth, one of our great affiliate stations, and he sent me pictures. They got a ton of snow. I mean, they got a ton of snow up there. And then, of course, up into New York, if you want to be a shoveler, you want to be a snow worker, you can present a couple forms of ID. Even though Zoran Mondami thinks that voter ID is bad, you have to present a couple forms of ID to be a snow shoveler. I mean, honestly, how stupid to hire people to shovel snow when you already got some city employees on a snow blower. One snow blower will do the work of 10 people. But this is your Democrat Party. You're going to have people out there with snow shovels, shoveling the snow. 2 feet of snow. You know what it's like to shovel 2 feet of snow? And then how far do you throw it? 5 feet? 6 feet? You know, whatever. Wow. And then you got to show ID if you want to, get a check for some government work. Wow. How about some SNAP benefit recipients? How about you shovel snow for your SNAP benefits? How about that? How about getting some illegals out there? You love to give them $500 hotel rooms at the Roosevelt, for God's sake, for a year. How about put them to work and then deport them? There you go. But yeah, we've got very little snow here. Not a big deal, which is great. I love it. I did some cooking this weekend. I did a video on my Instagram. I did white chicken chili. And I got a recipe for the white chicken chili, and it is the best ever. So look up Rob Carson Show on Instagram, and you'll see the video there. I talked to the camera, and we made a white chicken chili. This is the best damn white chicken chili ever. It is. It's ridiculous. And what you do is you serve it with, you ready for this? Dollop of sour cream and Fritos. Dollop of sour cream and Fritos. Oh, my God. It doesn't get any better than that. AOC is really mad because she looked stupid on the world stage. And she said that, just because she looked stupid on the world stage, most of the stuff she said when she was in Munich was super smart.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse.
And by the way, listen to the background. Her boyfriend or husband or whatever is snoring. I mean, I was listening to my friend Sean at WCBM. He's like, there's a dog farting. I don't know what that is. It's her boyfriend, whatever, snoring.
About international affairs, I paused to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist.
Or she's got some serious gas.
On Earth, I'm afraid the issue's not my understanding, but rather the problem is perhaps you've gotten adjusted to a president that never thinks before he speaks.
No, because everything you've said generally since the day you were elected and got on the world stage has been idiotic, you see. That wasn't the dumbest thing you've ever said. It was a litany of the dumb things you always say. That's it. I'll give you another example of her at the Munich conference saying absolutely nothing.
I think what we identify is that in a rules-based order, hypocrisy is vulnerability.
Okay. All order is rules-based because you have to have rules to establish order.
And so I think what we are seeking is a return to a rules-based order that eliminates the hypocrisies around when too often in the West we look the other way for inconvenient populations to act out these paradoxes.
Oh, my God. I feel like I'm getting an intellectual sunburn from being exposed to the radiation of her stupid. I mean, honestly, right? They should come up with some sort of an SPF 50 so you don't absorb any of her stupid. I would be slathering my face with it and everything so none of it got to me. My God, unbelievable. And here she is saying more stupid crap, saying that there's no such thing as whiteness.
There's a very big difference.
After years of the Democrat Party saying we're white supremacists and we're white privileged.
Between whiteness and national, like your actual
culture, right? Whiteness is an imaginary thing. Being German is real. Being Italian is real. Being English. These are rich cultural.
Okay, now I've got an intellectual sunburn. I mean, I'm going to have to put cocoa butter on my face and my head all night long to keep from the skin peeling off my face from her stupid. Oh, my God. Here she is. Here's the question she was talking about, the stupid response about Taiwan.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is of course a very long-standing policy.
Okay, that isn't just being caught off guard. That's just stupid. I mean, even I could say, okay, what do you think about using military forces if China went after Taiwan? I'd say something like, we would do our level best to ensure that Taiwan is able to defend itself. What? Oh, what? Oh, my God, I just said more than she said in her entire life. That is just crazy. That is just crazy. What did John Kennedy say? He said she's just like Kamala Harris, but with bartending experience. And here's what your Democrat Party has to offer. This is what your Democrat Party has to offer. In the state of California, they got a Republican, they got a gubernatorial race coming up here. And a controversial gubernatorial candidate, what's her name? Katie Porter, who's just a putrid woman. I mean, an unlikable, putrid, awful woman. Nothing to like about her at all. Her voice, her look, everything. She's just awful. Anyway, she made her bid to replace Gavin Newsom, and her entire campaign is based on one thing.
Simple, powerful message that we can all agree on. Say it with me. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's right. Trump.
Yeah. There you go. It's just F Trump. That's just, wow. Yeah, listen, I use profanity. I would say that I'm not particularly proud of it, but that's just who I am. When I'm putting together IKEA furniture, there are times that I use so much profanity. There's a cloud of profanity above my house. They have to fly aircraft around it. That's how bad it is, okay? I'm not afraid because it's very useful at times. It is quite useful at times. They say that actually is therapeutic. There's reasons for it. Don't get offended. It's just the way it is. Sorry, I don't do it on the air. But this is just putrid. She says, together we're going to kick Trump's rear end. I'll stand up to Trump and his cronies as I did in Congress. And then the reaction from conservatives, and there you have it, the Democrats' entire platform summed up in 2 words. They've got nothing to offer Californians but division and hate, one person wrote on social media. Yeah. They're just filthy, rotten, awful, terrible people. There's a woman named Juliana Stratton. She did an entire ad. And by the way, they're running the ad virally, not bleeped.
Trump. Vote Juliana. Trump. Vote Juliana.
Trump. Vote Juliana.
They said it, not me. I'm not scared of a wannabe dictator. I'm running for Senate to stand up to Donald Trump. I'll abolish.
Hey, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to abolish ICE, and you're going to stand up to Donald Trump. Okay. That's what you got. Okay, good luck with that. Good luck with that. And by the way, they're doing this Democrat convention in California. It's funny, one of the attendees, I guess, was walking around the convention and noticed the bathrooms. I want you to listen to this. Women, listen to me, okay? I'm talking about not the crazy cat lady Karens of the Democrat Party, but women with a modicum of common sense. The Democrat Party is as sexist as anything you could possibly imagine. They say that you can't figure out how to change your name back after you get married, and you can't get an ID. That's how bad you are. And then how they've treated women with like letting men compete with women, letting men into little girls' bathrooms, the whole deal, putting men in women's prisons, pretending to be women and raping them. That's your Democrat Party. But listen to this.
Here we are at the Moscone Center at the California Democrats Convention, and the women's sign says, "This restroom may be used by any person regardless of gender identity or expression.
Yeah, what about the men's?
And here we are at the men's, and it doesn't say that. It just says men's restroom.
Yeah.
Can someone explain that for me?
That is all you need to know about the Democrat Party and women right there. Women are good for two things, a vote and abortion. That's what they think you're there for. They think you're there to abort babies, and they want your vote. That's it. Honestly, the Democrat Party, they say they're for equality. They're not. Look at Donald Trump's cabinet. Look at the most powerful people in his government. Women. Susie Wiles. Pam Bondi. Kristi Noem. I can go on and on. Unbelievable. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
With the actions he's taken, Jacob Wright is making Minneapolis a clown town. Ice fries a posing while Tim Walz is dozing. City has become a clown town. Ilhan Omar's hiding frog, Keith Ellison's obstructing a war on law enforcement. Jacob Price conducting. Tampon Tim is so incompetent. Most Minnesotans want no more of him. It's a clown town, Minneapolis, clown town. It's far from fabulous, clown town. Once great cities become clown town, clown town.
When you're a man who calls himself a girl, it can be a bonus. When you compete with women, you have to hide. Ooh, that pair of cojones. I can cycle against the girls, that's my choice. I can steal their medals with this manly voice, 'cause the left makes me feel, the left makes me feel, the left makes me feel like a transgender woman. When I compete with females, I'm the one that's feared, 'cause I'm the only person in the race with a beard. But somehow I feel the left makes me feel, they make me feel like a transgender woman. Woman.
to
Yeah,
AOC.
she was talking about indigenous people and people of color, and she said not too long ago, the only problem that I have if I were to run for president is white men hate women of color.
Sure.
White men hate women of color. I don't think so. There's a lot of people who are not white in the Trump administration who are women. Harmet Dillon is one of the most brilliant lawyers I know in the Office of Civil Rights in the Department of Justice. So, I don't know. I think everybody has got fatigue, racial fatigue.
Yeah, racial fatigue finally, by the way. I've waited a very long time for this to happen. Cries of racism, racism, racism finally falling on deaf ears because they mean nothing. They mean nothing at all. By the way, in California, unlike most states, they hold partisan primaries. California dumps all candidates into one single primary election. The top two vote getters advance to the general election. Right now, it's Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco, both Republicans, out in front. Steve Hilton, 17. Chad Bianco, 14. Eric Swallowswell, 14. Katie Porter, the awful woman, 10%. Tom Steyer, 9. So I hope and pray for the state of California. They finally elected a Republican, and he just guts that stinking, filthy, rotten state. Just filthy, rotten, stinking state. Terrible, terrible state. Sarah Ferguson checked into the world's most expensive wellness clinic amid the Epstein fallout. Been sofa surfing on a global scale to avoid being discovered. Checked herself into the most expensive wellness clinic in the world. This place costs £13,000 a day. How in the hell? What the hell, honestly? That's like it's like $25,000 a day. The Paracelsus Recovery Clinic in Zurich, Switzerland. The Lakeside Clinic offers several different month-long recovery programs for ultra-wealthy clients. This Jeffrey Epstein scandal is spreading worldwide. Jesse Waters kind of put it in perspective, and none of it involves Donald Trump, by the way.
The Epstein files are detonating across the globe.
Listen to this.
Prince Andrew fell, and police are searching his home. So who's next? Because if you were anywhere near Epstein or Maxwell or just your name, you're in the blast zone. Larry Summers, who worked for Obama and Clinton, just resigned from Harvard.
What?
Obama's top lawyer, Kathy Rumler, resigned from Goldman.
What?
We looked at her emails. There's hundreds of them. She called Epstein Uncle Jeffrey.
Wow.
And gave him advice on how to get better press.
Wow.
And now another Obama official, his Homeland Security advisor, Lisa Monaco, showing up in the files.
Huh.
Bill Gates suddenly cancels a major speech overseas. Just hours he was set to go on stage.
Yeah.
Emails reveal meetings Gates had with Epstein after his conviction for soliciting a minor for prostitution. And one of Epstein's notes claimed Bill got an STD and needed help to hide it from his wife after contact with Russian girls.
Wow.
Gates denies that happened. Thomas Pritzker, JB's cousin, was a frequent guest at Epstein's townhouse. He just stepped down from his role as Hyatt Hotel's executive chairman. Bard College is now reviewing its president's ties to Epstein. Leon Botstein's name apparently appears over 2,000 times in the documents. American Express just put out a statement saying they regretted having Epstein as a client after he used their plastic to book travel for the girls.
Yeah, I got to tell you. And then here's Ghislaine Maxwell being interviewed by our Deputy Undersecretary of Attorney General, Todd Blanche.
I don't recall ever seeing him in his house.
Talking about Donald Trump and Epstein.
For instance, I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
And did you ever hear Mr. Epstein or anybody say that President Trump had done anything inappropriate with masseuses or with anybody in your world?
Absolutely never.
Wow.
In any context.
There you go. Another, scandal exploding in the Democrats' faces like an Acme TNT bomb to Wile E. Coyote. When he's got the plunger there and it's not working, he jumps up and down on it, then he goes over to the dynamite, boom, blows him up. That's the Democrat Party. That's what they do. They jump up and down on that plunger, and then that blows up in their faces. That's a pretty good analogy. You could see that, couldn't you? You could see that, right? You could see that in your head. You're like, oh my God, I just saw Wile E. Coyote jumping up and down on the plunger and then running over, and then boom, there you go. You just saw that. I know. I like to paint an oral picture. Nothing like Donald Trump or Joe Biden, Bill Clinton did at Epstein Island. There was another oral picture there, but I won't get into it. Memo by the Los Angeles Fire Department allegedly reveals the plans to protect Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass regarding her handling of the 2025 wildfires. 13-page confidential memo was entitled LAFDAAR, Strategic Response Plan. It was revealed that the goal was to prepare and protect Mayor Karen Bass, the city, and the Los Angeles Fire Department from reputational harm because she did such a terrible job. It is our goal to prepare and protect Mayor Bass, the city, and the LAFD from reputational harm associated with the upcoming public release of its AAR through a comprehensive strategy that includes risk assessment, blah, 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 gobbledygook, blah, blah, blah. Labeled for internal use only. Again, leave Bill Clinton out of this, which was unsigned, aims to shape news media coverage of the report's findings, including efforts to minimize tough Q&A by asking to hold closed-door meeting briefings with the Fire Commission and City Council, because she did a terrible job. She got put on the spot this weekend by a TV station out there, KTLA, and she was being asked about all the potholes out there because she's a complete moron, by the way. And let me see if I can find this here real quick. Karen Bass, where is it? Where's Karen Bass? Hold on a second, Helene. Here we go. So she's asked about all these potholes, and she says, "Oh, they're making some major progress on the roads and stuff out there." They're not. They're not even scratching the surface in Los Angeles. She's claiming a victory lap when she's only fixed, are you ready? 0.2%, 0.27% of the roads in LA.
Now, we saw you fill a pothole with asphalt here just a few minutes ago, and you're encouraging people to call 311, but guess what? We know people. I work with people who've called 311.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. The pothole was never repaired. They called several times.
You need to hire some people like Zoran.
Over a couple of months. Yes. What do you have to say about that?
Let me just tell you that in the last 2 months, 3 months, we have fixed over 10,000. We have a lot more to fix, but I think this is a reflection of decades of lack of investment in our infrastructure, and we are definitely addressing that.
You talk about that. I mean, we spend so much less here in LA than other cities do. For example, New York or San Diego, San Francisco. And we haven't repaved a single city street here since last summer.
Well, let me just say that we have much more we need to do, which is why I've been developing a comprehensive infrastructure plan.
Happen in the future.
Again, this is a situation that has existed for a very long time.
Blame it on the other people.
And we are absolutely addressing it.
Yeah.
We need to invest more in our infrastructure, and that is something that we are definitely going to do.
I mean, but these things take a lot of time. I think it was you who was saying, or somebody, that they're going to repave something like 60 lane miles of city streets
that's a
this
lot.
year. Well, there's 22,000 lane miles in the city of Los Angeles.
There
so
is
it's a tiny fraction.
There you go. So 22,000 lane miles, they're going to fix 60. There you go. That's 0.27%. Yeah, and they're covering up her malfeasance with regard to the LA fires. 12 houses have been rebuilt out of 12,000. They call that leadership. Let's take a break and come back. Doug Burns joins us next. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince. You know, a well-built wardrobe is about pieces that work together and hold up over time. That's what Quince does best. Premium materials, thoughtful design, everyday staples that feel easy to wear, even as the weather shifts. Quince has everyday essentials. I love the quality that lasts, by the way. Organic cotton sweaters, polos for every occasion, lighter jackets that keep you warm in the changing season. The list goes on. Now, Quince works directly with top factories and cuts out the middleman. So you're not paying for brand markup, just quality clothing. Everything is built to hold up to daily wear and still look good season after season. I have a great wool blazer that has the ladies turning their heads, even if they're not looking at me. And then, of course, a cashmere sweater, ridiculously soft, doesn't cost a fortune as well. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/newsmax for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. That's quince.com, QUINCE.com/newsmax. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/newsmax.
drugs transported by boat. Venezuela, you best take note. Cartels, they're having fits, 'cause they're men. They were blown to bits. The drug boat, it now resides on the ocean floor. The drug boat, Marco says we're gonna take out more. Yes, their lives are in danger if they take another chance. 'Cause drugs, we won't tolerate. Shut it down before it's too late. No drugs. A boat that was filled with drugs.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain. Over time, it just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. You know, hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
You like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2, and you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp, and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest growing news channel in America. Make the switch today.
Justice Thomas said so brilliantly and eloquently, the language of the statute is clear. Under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the president has the authority to regulate foreign trade. And going back to the founding of our country, the term regulate has always meant and included the power to levy duties.
Now, of course, Donald Trump suffered what many would consider a defeat by the Supreme Court on Friday with regard to the ability to levy tariffs. And of course, immediately after he had the magazine, another bullet in the chamber, if you will, and immediately did a 15% tariff on everybody. So that happened. To help us distill all of this and understand it a little bit better, I believe he stopped shoveling snow this morning to break for the show. The one and only Doug Burns. Doug Burns, how are you, sir?
Well, believe it or not, at my age, I'm retired from shoveling snow.
You sure you didn't want to go down there and give 4 different kinds of ID to Zoran Mondami so you could join the Snow Patrol? I think they're calling it Jim Snow 2.0.
But I'll tell you what, joking aside, my goodness, is he getting crushed on the hypocrisy point. My God. You've got to show ID to shovel snow, but of course they don't want anybody to have to show ID when you vote. And he's getting killed on it, so I'm actually quite satisfied with how the media is calling him out for the hypocrisy.
It really is, and Doug, you live in New York, and you're having to endure this what I call Lord of the Flies meets Animal Farm, which is Zoran Mondami and the idiots who put him in charge.
Rob?
Yes? Can you hear me? Is Doug not hearing me? Go ahead and get Doug. We might have lost him. Go ahead.
I lost you.
Yeah, I lost. Go ahead and bring him down and see what's going on, and we'll get him back on again. Just tell me when you are Noah in WCBM. Just tell me when you get him back, and we'll see if we can get him back on. Because there's nothing worse than losing me. Although my now ex-wife would completely disagree with that. She'd be like, losing me was the best thing that ever happened. But let's not go there. Is he back? All right, we're calling him back. Yeah. While we're doing that, I'm just going to tell you that the price of gold is now at $5,209 an ounce. So it's back above $5,000. It went up $100 since Friday. Maybe you should text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. How about that? I'd do it. I did it. They said, which heavy metal do you want? I said, well, Led Zeppelin, first of all. And they said, no. Gold or silver? I said, let's go with gold. Put it all on gold. Write it on gold. And I did it. I got it done. And all you got to do is just text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. A+ rating for the BBB. Tens of thousands of happy customers. Gold has gone up now. In 2 weeks, it's gone up $800. All right. Doug Burns, are you back?
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
No problem. But, I mean, honestly, this whole thing has just collapsed on him. You got the first city-run grocery store, ran out of groceries at 9 o'clock, is already barren and gone. You've got the phenomenal fail with regard to snow removal. You've lived there forever. Have you ever seen them not able to remove snow like this and let garbage pile up like this?
No, I've never seen that. And the point is, it's interesting. When I was handicapping, my vote for mayor, in all seriousness, it was less about, as crazy as this may sound, it really was less about ideology, even though I thought the ideology was horrible. But put that to the side. What it was about was the guy's age, 34 years old. I mean, I have a 39-year-old son. Now, no disrespect to my dear son, but he's not qualified to run New York City, and he's a smart kid, by the way. He's way smarter than Mondami, by the way. Yeah. But put that to the side. He's got a law degree from Cornell and an MBA from Cornell. But the point is, a little parental bragging, I apologize.
That's right.
But joking aside, this guy had no experience, no executive experience. 34 years old is a shockingly low age to be running New York City. And the point is, I mean, one other thing, though, you made such a great point, I think it was last week, when you said that politicians are starting to run, Rob, pitching certain things that they're going to do, and then they just flat out bait and switch. They lied during the campaign. You cited Spamberger. I agree with you. And you're seeing the same thing with Mondami, are we not?
Yeah, and then also the mayor of Seattle, who's literally, her parents are still paying for her kids' child care. She has no life experience whatsoever. Has never run a damned thing. You've got people in New York City. Zoran Mondami has never had a job. Hell, Barack Obama never had a real job. He didn't. He never had a real job. And I would venture to say that we survived his presidency. The country didn't thrive. Our GDP averaged 1% forever. Is the phone still? Is it a phone? The phone a problem?
I just heard his phone click.
He just did what?
If he's still there.
He is still there. Are you still there? Doug.
I think he's having problems with his phone.
I think he's having trouble with his phone. Wow, that just is, that's terribly uncomfortable. You know what happens normally when, you're watching television and something like this happens? The host doesn't know what the hell to do. But you see, I'm a seasoned professional, so I'm able to stretch and act almost semi-comfortable, even in the face of such colossal technical failure. Isn't that amazing how that happens? It's just kind of crazy how that happens. While we're waiting for Doug to get back on, let's listen to Zoran Mondami shutting down the entire city, even though some of us know how to drive in snow, even though some people know how to drive in snow. He's basically doing what they did during COVID.
Additionally, temperatures dropping into the 20s overnight will result in slippery streets, sidewalks, and extremely hazardous conditions across our city.
Yeah.
Due to these factors, we are declaring a state of emergency and instituting a travel ban starting at 9 p.m. this evening and ending at 12 p.m. tomorrow. The state of emergency closes the streets, highways, and bridges of New York City for all traffic.
Wow.
Cars, trucks, scooters, and e-bikes, with some specific exemptions for essential and emergency movement. We are asking New Yorkers to avoid all non-essential travel.
Now, when it snowed here a few weeks ago, it snowed like 12 inches of snow, and we were able to drive in it. And I actually drive and survive and thrive in snow, even when it's like I can't recall there was an amount of snow that I didn't drive in. Maybe one time in Snowmageddon in 2010, it snowed 26 inches, and I ended up getting my Hummer H3 stuck in the snow in front of my house. Because generally when snow comes over the hood of your vehicle,
We solved it.
you're not going anywhere. Is Doug still? Doug, are you back?
I'm back.
My God, maybe Zoran needs to hire some phone workers. Doug, I tell you what, I'm going to take a break because there's other things I want to cover on the other side of the break. Can you hold on until then, my friend?
Absolutely.
All right, let's come back with more with Doug Burns. Hopefully phone won't be an issue on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. It is the Rob Carson Show. Doug Burns is back on his landline. I know they still make those things. Doug Burns. I want to ask you this. The next question with regard to these tariffs is that the Democrats want Donald Trump to pay back $170 billion in tariff revenue. What do you suppose is going to happen now? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, it was very, very interesting because the court, before the decision was announced, I joined a number of other legal experts in saying that if they strike down the tariffs, it'll only be because under the particular statute, this Emergency Economic Powers Act that everybody's talking about, didn't authorize it. But in light of the fact that there are multiple other statutes, as you've heard experts explain, that enable the President Trump, to impose tariffs, I thought that they would bend over backwards and find a way to make it clear that money wouldn't have to be paid back. I was wrong. They did not do that. There's bad news and there's good news. They didn't say you have to pay it back, but they also, Rob, didn't say that you don't have to pay it back.
Yeah.
So you're left very much in limbo. People are speculating about what's going to happen now. Ostensibly, lawsuits could be brought, but it was interesting because one expert explained this morning on Newsmax that, and I agree, that if you have a receipt for a coat, for $45, there's no breakdown probably on your receipt as to what was a tariff. But if you bought an automobile, there might be a breakdown. But again, what's going to happen is I do not think there's going to be a lot of relief in terms of refunds. The president clearly has the authority to impose these tariffs under other statutes, and he's going to do exactly that. Again, to be a broken record, I was very surprised that the Supreme Court didn't see fit to carve out and make it clear that the money would not have to be returned. And then the last point, which is really important, is that countries, to their credit, entered into trade agreements with the United States because the president brilliantly, I'm not overstating it, used tariffs as a negotiating tool to effectuate those trade agreements. And I do not believe that countries are going to pull out of those, okay?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look what he did with the tariffs. He took money, he gave it to the America's farmers for their relief because they've suffered forever because of the tariff structure that was in place previously. And we have been unfairly tariffed versus other countries and whatnot. So you got that. And then Donald Trump, I guess with some of these new statutes that he's going to use, it allows Donald Trump to act if he feels the United States has been discriminated against. And clearly we have. So it sounds like actually, and I guess, why did they originally go with this route to do the tariffs rather than what he's doing now, do you suppose?
Yeah, well, that's the $1 million question, and it's a great question, obviously. And, a couple of pundits I saw, and I kind of went to school on it and repeated the point, were diplomatically saying that, the president on many levels should be more mad perhaps at his legal advisors than at the Supreme Court, in the sense that all the Supreme Court said was you checked the wrong box, you used the wrong statute. But in light of the fact, from a common sense standpoint, in light of the fact that it's clear that he has the authority to do it under other ones, that's why I'm saying that they should have made it clear that money did not have to be returned or paid back. But again, it's not really any big loss for the administration. And I'm a little surprised at the Supreme Court, I got to be honest with you, because, again, this really is a very, very unusual situation, because if you factor in how beneficial this is for our country and then add in that he had the authority under other statutes, so it's really a technicality is what I'm arguing here, then the point is I was very surprised that they didn't address it at all. I mean, you look at Justice Kavanaugh, his analysis, very, very strong. Very, very solid and so forth. And then you do get a little bit into the politics of the Supreme Court, which is the Chief Justice, obviously, who on a number of occasions has been, very squirrely. That's not a legal term. But, and I know the president was disappointed. I do part company with President Trump. I thought his criticism was a little out of line. Even he would probably agree with that, saying that, their families should be ashamed of themselves. That's a little bit much. But the reality of it is that I thought it was a poor decision.
Yeah, what'd you think about those Olympics, man? How about that? How about that hockey victory? Both of our hockey teams, Doug, men and women, gold in overtime against Canada. That was something else, wasn't it?
Oh, it was fantastic. It's so interesting because I lived in Philadelphia in 1980. I was working there a year off before I went to law school. And I was driving down, I think it was like Montgomery Avenue on the main line, and people were honking their horns and waving flags, and I wasn't sure what was going on for a couple minutes. Then it clicked on the radio, realized what happened. You know, Mike Eruzione and the boys won the gold in 1980, and it's hard to believe that all this time has elapsed.
46 years. We haven't won a gold in 46 years, Doug.
I know, it's amazing. But anyway, no, it's great for the country. It's great all around. Very, very exciting. The U.S. had a very good Olympics. I mean,
I think
we came in.
I think it's
second
very
in gold medals, and we did well.
It's funny that the Democrats, these petulant little children, are not going to attend the State of the Union. They're going to do an alternative event with a bunch of very unlikable people, like Eric Swalwell. Oh yeah, I'm going to watch that. But anyway, so Donald Trump last night invites the men's hockey team, says, "Come to the State of the Union." He said, "We'll be there." So you're going to have the men's and the women's teams, U.S. hockey, and Democrats gone. I just love it, Doug.
Yeah, but guess what? They're going to get the same reception, the hockey players, as that young boy who had serious medical issues. They made him an honorary Secret Service agent, and all the Democrats were looking away and yawning. They're disgusting.
I know they are.
I mean, honestly, it's just ridiculous. But at the same time, the State of the Union will be interesting. I'm looking for, obviously, the tariff thing, the second coming of the Citizens United thing when Barack Obama called out the court, I think it was, and Alito famously shook his head, no. So, will Trump address that? We'll see. Which Supreme Court justices are going to show up, by the way, by analogy to the Democrats not showing up. I have no idea which ones are going to be there, to be perfectly honest with you.
Right.
But again, Donald Trump, he's just an amazing fighter.
Oh, yes.
He has amazing energy, obviously, and it's just amazing what he has accomplished. And I'm chuckling, obviously, because, I've been saying all along, and I think you'll find this interesting, we got to do a show in 3 years, okay? And we got to sit there and say, okay, Doug, we're going to recap a few issues now. Okay, Doug? How many concentration camps were constructed?
Yes.
How many people did he murder?
Yeah.
Did he turn out to be an existential threat to our democracy? And lastly, did he refuse to leave the White House?
There you go. Yeah, and also, if he's a king, actually, and a dictator, he's the worst one ever because he just got defeated by the Supreme Court, and he didn't ignore the ruling like AOC suggested Joe Biden do. Doug Burns, thanks, brother. I appreciate you so much. Doug Burns Law on Twitter. We'll talk again soon, okay?
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
You bet. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All righty. I'm looking over here to see what I'm going to talk about before I go. Cat lady. Cat lady. It's time for a crazy cat lady update. Let's do that. All right. Who's watching Squall White? Hello, Squall White. Good to see you. Looney Tunes. I was talking Looney Tunes a little while ago. Hello. Hello, Vicky. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Pranay Yubrachat, as always, nice to see you. BFO5, what's going on over there on the Rumbly-Roo? They have been here in Texas since 1992. Amazing, you're just done. Okay. You're talking about something else there. Ave Maria, I love Ave Maria, Artisanti. I started when the Muslim call of prayer is played in New York City. You need to blast something out your windows, like the Ave Maria or the Jimi Hendrix doing the national anthem. I think that would be good. Or dogs barking. Oh, just dogs barking. How about dogs barking? I like that the best. How about every time the Muslim call of prayer is aired in New York City, you play dogs barking over a speaker? I think that's a great idea. Yeah, cat ladies are next. My wife and I have 3 dogs, 2 turtles, and 1 cat. 2 turtles? I got salmonella from my daughter's turtles. It was dreadful. Get a little bit of their water on your finger. Accidentally put it in your mouth. It's going to make you sick. Salmonella sucks. I've had it a few times. It's awful. Got it in Jamaica. Ate some lobster on the beach. Not a good idea. There's a lot of things in Jamaica. If you put it in your mouth, you can end up getting sick. I'll just tell you that. Hey, ho, hi. Here we go. Crazy cat lady. Time for a crazy cat lady. Here we are. All right, so doing this Gettysburg Battlefield tour on June 11th with our anchor station WCBM in Baltimore. If you're in the area, maybe you're in Rehoboth with WGMD, maybe you're up at Benny Media in New Hampshire, you want to come down, we've got another bus, another luxury coach. We filled up the first one like that. So it's the 250th anniversary of our country's birth. We thought starting off with Gettysburg would be an amazing thing to do. The 11th of June, we leave at 8 a.m., go to the Gettysburg Visitor Center, lunch at the Dobbin House, tours of the battlefields, all that stuff. WCBM.com, WCBM.com. So it's time for our crazy cat lady of the day. This is a woman who doesn't like men, and she and her partner moved to Canada because of some imaginary crisis that Donald Trump was going to cause, and uprooted her children and destroyed their lives.
I'm a scholar of the far right who has fled the United States to Canada, and I need help. The situation in Canada is absolutely dire. For Americans who don't know, the housing crisis here is worse than in the United States. I lived in LA for 6 years, and I have not faced rent as bad as here.
I know.
When my partner, our cat, and our dog fled the United States,
you got a dog. Wow.
We headed north with the goal of being close to where our families are located, which is on the West Coast.
Of course it is.
So we are now in British Columbia. More specifically, we are in the Sea to Sky Highway.
Yeah, you moved up there. You have no way to make a living, and the housing crisis up there is much, much worse. And you put your family through a lot of hell for no good reason. Because you're a crazy cat lady, a white liberal Karen. Here's Jeff Gossett.
Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're all Democrats. We call them Karen.
Karens.
They have a whiny voice. They are all pro-choice and mostly barren.
Yeah.
They're cat ladies. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost their minds.
Yeah, there you go. They are. They're crazy. The Democrat Party has driven them insane. They're moving out of the country. I've got like 3 different crazy cat lady Karens, I'll say for the rest of the week, have uprooted their families, moved overseas. Their children are sad. They're dropping them off at schools where they don't speak English, and they're crying, and their children should be taken from them. And they left for no good reason. Nothing here to fear. Nobody offering anything but actually more freedom economically and the celebration of America like never before in its 250th year. But they are so nuts that they've destroyed the lives of their families, their children, even their cats, for God's sake. So there you go. That's the white liberal Karen. I'm loving watching her do a death spiral into the pits of hell with the Democrat Party. That's going to do it for the show. Did you have fun? I had fun. Yeah. Check out all your usual podcast platforms for the show if you want to hear anything you missed. In the meantime, God bless you. America's founded Donald Trump, what he's doing for America in our 250th year. And until tomorrow, which is Tuesday, do not catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.